Europe's top marginal income tax rates regularly exceed 45%. Italy hits up to 49%. Even Ireland and Greece charge over 40% on high earners. But 7 European governments have carved out special regimes that cap, flatten or eliminate taxation on foreign income. These aren't low-tax countries by default like Monaco or Andorra, but high-tax nations that offer specific programs to attract internationally mobile individuals, retirees and investors willing to relocate. We ranked all 7 based on effective tax rate, duration, cost of entry, residency, flexibility, and how well established each program is. Let's get into it. Before we run through the ranking, a quick primer on how these programs actually function. 2 main models exist. Some countries use a remittance basis. That means foreign income is only taxed when you physically transfer it to the country where you live. Keep it offshore, and you owe little to nothing locally. Others charge a fixed annual lump sum regardless of how much you earn abroad. Whether your foreign income is €500,000 or €5 million, the bill is the same. The right choice depends on your income profile, family structure, and how long you plan to stay. You can compare and sort all of these and more on IMI's Program Finder, which covers over 275 residency and citizenship programs in 140 countries. Link is in the description. Switzerland is not a low-tax country. Top marginal rates exceed 40% in several cantons. Federal, cantonal and municipal layers stack on top of each other. The forfait fiscal or expenditure-based taxation offers an alternative for foreign nationals who are resident in Switzerland but not employed there. Instead of taxing your actual income, authorities calculate your liability based on your living costs. The tax base equals the highest of several measures: 7 times your annual rent, 3 times your hotel costs, or a federal minimum of roughly €460,000. In practice, minimum annual tax bills range from 250,000 Swiss francs to over 1 million Swiss francs depending on the canton. For individuals earning tens of millions from abroad, the effective rate drops into single digits. There is no maximum duration, and it is available to family members who qualify independently. So why is Switzerland last? 2 reasons. 6 of its 26 cantons have abolished the regime entirely, which limits your options geographically. And the cost floor is the highest on this list by far. You cannot access the forfait for less than about €250,000 per year. In popular cantons like Geneva or Vaud, the practical minimum runs much higher. Poland is the least discussed entry here, but its lump sum program mirrors principles found in more established regimes. The annual lump sum is 200,000 Polish zloty, about €47,000 at current exchange rates. Foreign income is broadly exempt from Polish taxation. Spouses and dependent children can opt in at 100,000 Polish zloty per person per year. A separate mandatory spend of 100,000 Polish zloty goes toward public interest projects in science, education, cultural heritage, or sport. To qualify, you need a tax residency certificate from a non-Polish country, covering at least 5 of the previous 6 years. Poland normally taxes worldwide income at progressive rates of 12% and 32%, plus a 4% solidarity surcharge above 1 million Polish zloty. For individuals with 7-figure foreign income, the 200,000 Polish zloty payment is a fraction of what standard rates would produce. The drawback? Poland's regime lacks the track record and advisory infrastructure of its Mediterranean competitors. Fewer international tax firms specialize in Polish structuring, and the lifestyle proposition does not yet compete with Southern Europe for most relocating high-net-worth individuals. Italy's flat tax regime once offered the most compelling deal in Europe. When it launched in 2017, the annual lump sum was €100,000. It doubled to €200,000 in 2024, and as of January 1st, 2026, it now stands at €300,000 for new applicants. Family members cost an additional €50,000 each. Run the numbers though, and it still works for ultra-high earners. A household with €2 million in annual foreign income would pay an effective rate of roughly 15% to 20%, compared to Italy's standard top rate of 43% plus surcharges. The regime also exempts you from Italian wealth taxes on foreign assets. foreign asset reporting, and inheritance and gift taxes on offshore holdings. It lasts up to 15 years, and beneficiaries who entered at the old rates are grandfathered. Italy also offers a 7% flat tax for retirees who relocate to small municipalities in designated southern regions, and a 50% income tax exemption for qualifying foreign professionals. The €300,000 threshold now filters heavily for the ultra-wealthy. For a family of 4, the annual outlay reaches €400,000. That repositions the programme away from the broadly affluent and explains why Italy sits in the middle of this list. Greece runs 2 distinct non-dom regimes, each built for a different profile. The investor regime requires a minimum $500,000 investment in Greek assets, which can include real estate, businesses or securities. In return, you pay a flat €100,000 per year on all foreign income for up to 15 years. Family members can be added for €20,000 each. Foreign income is entirely exempt from Greek taxation, and foreign assets face no wealth taxes. The retiree regime is even more attractive for those who qualify. It applies a 7% flat rate on foreign pension income and other passive income, including dividends, interest, and capital gains from abroad. That rate holds for 15 years. At €100,000 per year versus Italy's €300,000 per year, Greece is considerably cheaper. And unlike Italy, the annual payment has not increased since the programme launched. The 7% retiree rate is among the lowest dedicated pension rates in the EU. If real estate is your preferred investment route, that €500,000 requirement can work in your favour. You put capital into a tangible asset in one of Europe's strongest tourism markets while accessing the flat tax regime. You can find golden visa eligible properties on IMI Real Estate, where only listings that qualify for residency or citizenship are collected. Ireland operates the purest surviving version of the remittance-based non-dom regime that the UK ran for over 2 centuries before abolishing it in April 2025. If you are tax resident in Ireland but domiciled elsewhere, you pay Irish tax only on income earned in Ireland and on foreign income you physically bring into the country. Keep it offshore and it's tax-free. 3 features set Ireland apart from every other regime on this list. First, there is no time limit. Your non-dom status continues indefinitely as long as your permanent home is outside Ireland. Second, there is no annual charge. Ireland charges nothing for non-dom status. Third, there is no formal application. You qualify based on your factual circumstances, not through a government approval process. The trade-off is that Irish domestic tax rates are high. Income tax reaches 40%. Capital gains sit at 33%, and additional charges like USC and PRSI add further layers. The remittance basis only helps you if you can genuinely keep your foreign income outside the country. For non-EU nationals, Ireland's Immigrant Investor Programme closed in 2023, so residency pathways are now limited. EU, EEA and UK citizens can relocate freely and benefit immediately. If you're considering Ireland or any other jurisdiction on this list, connecting with a qualified advisor early is essential. You can find, sort and contact specialists in any country at imidaily.com. Malta's remittance-based regime for non-DOMs is one of the most flexible in Europe. Tax is payable only on Maltese source income and on foreign income remitted to Malta. Everything that stays outside of the country faces zero Maltese taxation. The minimum annual tax is just €5,000, and that floor only applies if your foreign income exceeds €35,000. Compare that to Italy's €300,000, Greece's €100,000, or Poland's €47,000. Malta's cost of entry is negligible. There is no deemed domicile rule, sunset clause and maximum duration. You can hold non-dom status for as long as you live in Malta without it expiring. And unlike Italy or Greece, Malta imposes no prior non-residency requirement. You can move from any jurisdiction and begin benefiting immediately. One feature that truly stands out: foreign source capital gains are exempt from Maltese tax, regardless of domicile, even if you remit them to Malta. That makes Malta the only EU member state combining a remittance-based non-dom regime with full EU residency rights and zero tax on foreign capital gains. For non-EU nationals, the Malta Permanent Residence Programme requires a €60,000 administration fee plus a €37,000 government contribution, with a minimum property purchase of €375,000 or annual rental of €14,000. Malta's constraints are practical. The island is small. Real estate has gotten expensive. Healthcare capacity is limited. But on pure tax efficiency for foreign income, Malta is very hard to beat in the EU. Cyprus comes in at the top, and the gap between number 1 and the rest of this list is wider than you might expect. Non-domiciled tax residents of Cyprus pay zero special defence contribution, or SDC, on dividends and interest income, whether sourced in Cyprus or abroad. Capital gains from the sale of securities are also entirely exempt, regardless of domicile. And from January 2026, rental income is no longer subject to SDC for any Cyprus tax resident. The SDC exemption lasts 17 years from the date you become a Cyprus tax resident. Under the 2026 reform, a new extension mechanism lets non-DOMs continue their exemption for up to 2 additional 5-year periods by paying €250,000 per period. That extends the maximum window to 27 years. Now add Cyprus's residency test. Under the 60-day rule, you qualify as a Cyprus tax resident by spending just 60 days per year in the country. The conditions are that you do not spend 183 or more days in any other single country. You keep a permanent residence in Cyprus, and you carry on business or hold office in a Cyprus tax resident company. Personal income tax rates were updated under the 2026 reform. The tax-free threshold is now €22,000, and the top rate of 35% kicks in above €72,001. High-earning employees can access a 50% exemption on employment income above €55,000 for up to 17 years. For non-EU nationals, Cyprus's permanent residency programme requires a €300,000 property investment. EU citizenship is attainable after 7 years of continuous physical presence. The 2026 reform raised a corporate tax from 12.5% to 15% to align with the OECD global minimum. But individual non-DOM benefits are untouched. For an investor receiving dividends through a holding structure, the combination of zero SDC, zero capital gains on securities, and a 60-day residency rule creates an effective tax rate that no other European jurisdiction can match. These 7 regimes are the best in Europe right now, but they are not the only ones. If you want the full picture, check out the video on your screen now covering 13 low-tax regimes in high-tax Europe with expert analysis on each. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet.